No, I mean, I think we need to be very clear about the way that this debate is being twisted to suit MPs, actually, and not the public. So you have Geoffrey Cox, who was consulting from a tax haven when the rest of us were in lockdown against the British government. That clearly isn't in the interests of ordinary people. You've got an MP called John Hayes, who received around £150,000 over 3 years to consult for an oil company. He recently compared climate activism to radical Islam. You know, we're looking at a really serious situation with climate change at the moment, so that's clearly not in the public interest. And then you have, this story with Owen Paterson. So
well, just hold on a second. Why is it not in the public interest? Because, I mean, his phraseology...
Why are you asking me why it's not in the public interest?
Well, I'm just going to make the point.
Climate activists, radical Islamists,
no.
We're at the 11th hour to solve climate change. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'll tell you what I'm asking. I'm saying that even though people may find his phraseology offensive, that actually there are people who would side with him. Now, whether you side with him or I side with him or anyone sides with him is irrelevant. He does speak for at least some form of constituency on that issue, and they would see a value in having that voice within the House of Commons. What do you say to that?
I think every single opinion in the world will be shared by somebody, no matter how outlandish it is. And I don't think that we should be allowing that truth to distract from the fact that this was an MP who was leading with the interests of an oil company rather than the interests of the people that he was elected to represent. And that is what happens when you allow a situation where MPs are allowed to take these second jobs, where there aren't enough regulations around that. And I think that's what we need to focus on, rather than talking about sort of hypotheticals, around, well, maybe it brings more experience to Parliament or whatever the argument might be. The reality of the situation is that of the 16 most well-remunerated MPs in Parliament who have second jobs, the vast majority of those were consulting for private companies, for oil or mining companies, and for banks. They were not doing things that helped the general public. They were doing things that fattened their wallets and helped a small minority of very wealthy people. That's the reality.